Now let's talk about acids and bases. And acids and bases is one of the topics in chemistry that I personally prefer, and I find it very interesting because it kind of relates to real life and real life applications. So let's get started. Well, let's start by giving some examples on acids and bases. Well, an example of an acid would be oranges. They contain some acid, and also lemons or lime, such stuff. So you notice the common thing between those two is that they taste sour. So this is how an acid feels like. An example of a base would be baking soda, and baking soda has the formula of sodium bicarbonate. Also, an example of a base would be the soap that you use in your bathroom. This soap has a base. Now, these two examples, the common thing between them is that they taste bitter. Also, they are slippery. So that's some of the characteristics of acids and bases. Now, you see this comic right here? I pricked it because this will help me explain what's the chemical definition of an acid and a base. Now, these are some of the examples. Let's get into the chemistry of that. Now, you see here there is a lovely lemon. Well, it's not lovely at all, it's evil, because it's trying to throw some H+ ions into the milk. Oh, and the milk says, "Oh, my milk is curdling," and it's freaking out. So, what's the definition of an acid? So an acid, as you see from the comic, it's an H+ ion donor. It means it gives H+ ions to the base. Now the base is the opposite. A base is an H+ ion acceptor. In other words, that means that the acid is a proton donor and the base is a proton acceptor. So this is the chemistry definition of acids and bases. Now, so many scientists across time, they try to come up with a definition for acids and bases. Now, there are several definitions, but you guys are only responsible for those definitions right here. So, how do we measure acidity and basicity? Now, scientists came up with this scale. It's called the pH scale. So this is the pH scale. And the pH scale varies from 1 to 14. Now, the 1 is the extreme. So a substance having a pH of 1 is the most acidic, and a substance having a pH of 14 is the most basic. Now, a substance can be either acidic, neutral, or basic. So how do we know that? We know that using the pH scale. So a neutral substance would be at a pH of 7, so this is neutral. A basic substance would be at a pH from 7 to 14, so that's the basic, and from 1 till 7 is acidic. Now on this scale, on this diagram right here, it gives you the relative pHs of substances like lemons. We said that's acidic and it's at a pH of 2, apples at a pH of 3, tomatoes at a pH of 4, and so on and so forth. You see here, water is at a pH of 7 because water is neither acidic nor basic, it's neutral. We drink it every day, we don't feel any taste. As you see right here, the soap is at pH of 10, and that means it's a base, and so on and so forth. You can Google some examples of acids and bases and you can relate to these in everyday life.